Welcome to the first ever LTF1 podcast. My name's Akshay and I'm the founder of LTF1.
Hi, my name's Ish and I'm a full-time George Russell fan.
Hi guys, I'm Ranjit. My favourite car is a McLaren MP4-12 seat.
Great, we've got the introductions out of the way. These podcasts will be three friends sharing their opinion on the world of F1. If you've got opinions or questions, then be sure to comment and we'll get to them next time. But for now, let's talk F1. Hamilton's coming in for his 7th title. What is going to stop him, if ever, if anything?
What's going to stop him?
Can anything stop him?
I think old age will curtail his title push.
So how long do you think he's got left then?
Personally, I think he's coming to the end of his career with Mercedes. If he was to move to Ferrari, then it may be a different ball game. But with the current state that Ferrari is
I think about 2 or 3 years the maximum. Because
Gonna go on
at
like,
the minute, as a decent... What?
You don't think he's going to go on like Raikkonen until he's kicked out?
No.
I think Raikkonen's move was poor because he's now running around.
I think Raikkonen should have retired a couple of years ago because, you know the famous saying, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. He's sort of getting to a point now where there's other drivers that could easily take his place from F2.
I feel his priorities have shifted.
A bit like Alonso coming back next year. I think it's just a bit of a waste.
You're not excited for him?
I feel his priorities have shifted from... No, personally, I'm not. Because two-time world champion, don't want to see him at the field. I want to see him leading the races and pushing for the title. But clearly that is not going to happen in the car that he has chosen to come back in.
Because it's contesting for podiums now.
Renault will not be a podium car next year. Mark my words. I believe Aston Martin have a better chance of success.
I don't think Vettel's got it anymore.
I think he has. It's just the disappointment with the car.
I think Ferrari have done him so hard that he's lost it. Charles Leclerc's come in there.
I think from next year as well, because of how badly this year's gone for Vettel, I think his confidence will be on the floor next year. And I don't think he'll do that well, to be honest.
I think he's confident enough to overcome those this year, particularly, but also the last 7 years. I think in the right car, he could potentially be challenging for the title. Probably not winning it, but challenging certainly.
I feel like if Lance Stroll gets him in the first couple of races, then he'll never have that opportunity for his confidence to come back up. He's either got to come back and immediately dominate, or that's it for him.
Well, yeah, because basically he's got the role of Checo Perez to take on, and I just think it'll be too much for him with his confidence. And because Lance Stroll's a decent enough driver, I don't know, I can't see him doing all that well next year.
I think he will out-qualify his teammate on most occasions, personally.
I hope so, because people really don't rate Lance. So if he's not out-qualifying Lance, then...
I think...
In my opinion, the young drivers are probably, if you look at it, Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz are probably your best bet at a young driver. I don't put Max Verstappen in that category because he's been in Formula 1 now for enough years, and his experience. He's young, but the experience is there. Whereas the others have been in and out, such as Carlos Sainz.
Yeah.
The veterans, such as like Perez and Hülkenberg, I think they're able to race at the high standard that is in Formula 1, but are they ever going to advance to that next level? That is the question. And personally, I think that they won't be able to.
Do you think Hülkenberg should be on the grid for next year then?
I think he definitely should be on the grid. He's a good driver. He's proved it with driving 2 different cars this year, even though he's not part of any of their teams due to the pandemic.
He's done well. I do like him, but I can't really think of where he'd come in next season, to be honest, as a permanent driver.
The doors have been closing pretty hard.
Yeah.
Question: if Mercedes were to get rid of Bottas who should replace him?
If they don't give that,
I really want.
then the young driver.
I really want it to be George Russell. I really want it to be.
I have a funny
I
feeling
personally,
George Russell
Lando's got
qualifier.
Lando's up there for me. I think he's a top driver.
I don't think he's leaving McLaren though.
Young, he's tenacious.
No, I can't see.
Skills.
I can't see Lando leaving anytime soon.
It depends on how competitive McLaren are. If they are a bit more competitive, then
I think they will
if
be.
they have the consistency,
I don't think they're going to be competitive
not
next year. I think next year, because they're taking the hit with the Mercedes engine and the development, they're going to be waiting for 21.
I think Red Bull's going to go downhill soon.
Sorry?
Personally, they're losing their engine as well. I think Red Bull's going downhill soon. Then again, Honda engines haven't been the best.
But I think because of how big of a team that Red Bull are and how established they are, I can't see them going down like a lead balloon. Maybe over time, but not. I don't know. I can't see them suddenly becoming non-competitive.
You say that, but they did for 4 years.
They'll always have the chassis though, because they've got Adrian Newey.
2013 to 17, they did. They became a thing. They weren't competitive. After that, primarily, one of the reasons why Vettel left.
But they're not going to drop to the midfield, are they?
They're not going to drop to the back of the grid, but you say that, Ferrari have gone downhill. They've dropped close enough to the back.
Charles Leclerc's pulling performances out of the bag.
Yeah.
Now he is. He wasn't a couple of months ago. 2 months ago he wasn't. He was running around with Sebastian Vettel at the back. It's only recently that he's proper advanced his driving and got used to the car.
Do you think Charles Leclerc is outperforming the car as much as Max Verstappen is outperforming the Red Bull?
No, because Verstappen's done it on a much more consistent basis, whereas Charles Leclerc, the only evidence we have is the past couple of races. Whereas Verstappen, we've seen constantly, if you look at his teammate, we can see that the car isn't actually that brilliant, but the subjectivity of it is that the driver, he's pulling out rabbits out of a hat with the car, and he's literally turned it into a championship car when it's meant to be running around close to the end of the points, near 10th, 11th, and somehow he's managing to keep it up.
I don't
podium place.
That bad. I feel like Albon's doing a disservice to the car as much as Max Verstappen's doing a service to it.
But then, if you get rid of Albon, who are you going to have? What? Danny Kvyat's going to come back, crash into everybody.
I don't know why not, because Kvyat did perfectly well with Ricciardo at the beginning. Okay, he had some incidents, and that's why they got rid of him, but I think he'd do perfectly well.
Mainly Russia, I think it was, his own circuit where he crashed into the back of Sebastian Vettel.
Yeah, but other than that, he was doing okay. I feel like he should be given another shot.
I do feel like that was a bit overly cautious to get in a more sensible driver. But I feel if you don't take the risks, you're never going to reap the rewards. If you don't take the risks to go for that position, such as a Ricciardo does, one of the best overtakes in my opinion of the past 10, 15 years. If you don't take those risks, you're not going to get that position. And fundamentally, that's what it's all about, the positions.
You should.
But
what was that?
Who would you put in the second Red Bull?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't know. I do really like Albon, but he's just underperforming by a lot this year. And I don't know. I can't see him having too much of a future at Red Bull. But
do you see a future in F1?
Albon?
Yeah.
Maybe. He's shown that he can do well. At times he's been unlucky where he got a bit shafted by Hamilton. But I don't know. He's not shown it consistently enough, I'd say, to argue that he can over the long term.
I can see him going to Formula E because I know that before Red Bull drafted him in last minute, he did have a contract in Formula E, I believe, and that might be a better place for him.
Yeah, as you say, there's better drivers that I think will do better coming through.
I think there's too many good drivers coming through at the moment. There's nowhere to put them all.
Yeah,
There's not enough seats on the grid because people like Alonso, Raikkonen.
Yeah, I feel like your veterans are sort of taking up the positions. Like, well, I'd class Perez and Hulkenberg in the veteran category.
Does that mean Hamilton should be moving on as well because he's won everything and what's the point of staying?
But he's in a top car and he's not necessarily taking up the grid space in terms of the teams where they would go into. The younger drivers, they're not going to go into the top teams. If we're talking about the teams that they're going to go into, they're going to go into the other teams, like your Saubers and your other cars.
Okay, take Vettel. I mean, he's taking up the seat, surely.
He's taking up the seat, but he's moving on.
But the thing is, the difference between Vettel and Hamilton is that outside of racing, because Hamilton has so much marketability that Vettel doesn't. That's why I think
suppose that's hard work as well, though, on the part of Hamilton in terms of building a brand.
Yeah, Hamilton has his own sort of brand outside of F1, whereas some of the other older drivers are a bit bland otherwise. And
Raikkonen.
I don't think his brand has any value though. If he leaves F1, does his brand still carry value, or is it just because he is the GOAT right now?
He is a personality. So if he advances that brand, then
because I think there's more to Hamilton than just F1. Because I think that's what adds him more value than someone like Vettel.
But on a personal level, I think that Vettel is a more charismatic individual. If we go on previous from responses and interviews, he's definitely more charismatic. He's definitely he's got more of a persona, a likable persona, especially.
He might have a persona that you like, but
no, it's not just me. This is the opinion of many.
This is why a lot of them have fans. But Hamilton, the reason why, if you ask someone on the street to name, say, like 3 F1 drivers on the current grid, the first one they'd name is Hamilton.
Because he's got the most victories and the most titles. And he's in the news constantly.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
And we live in England.
Yeah, well, you could probably go anywhere and ask the same question and get the same reply. Apart from in Mexico. In Mexico, they all love Checo Perez.
You say that, I think in Germany, Vettel would easily. I get it's his home nation.
In Germany?
In continental Europe, I reckon it'd be a close race.
I don't think so.
Yeah, we're never going to agree on this. So let's move on to tracks. This year we've been spoiled with the amount of tracks that we have, and the old track we've got to go to new places. The calendar for next year has just come out. Don't know if either of you have seen it, but
I have seen it. There's one vacant week in there.
Yeah, week 4.
I think that on a personal level, originating from India, I think the Indian circuit should be in there. Long straights, high speeds, chicanes, it's got it all. I think the Indian, because it was in there for a good 4 year period.
Yeah, but I think it was taken out, right? There were funding stopped for it. I assumed that spot was for Vietnam, if they can negotiate to have Vietnam come back.
Oh, yeah, true.
Because that's where it would be, right?
Potentially.
Have you enjoyed watching F1 at these old tracks, Mugello, Portimao?
Where's the Japanese Grand Prix?
Second, fourth.
Japanese is 18th round.
I missed Suzuka this year.
I did miss it. It's a good circuit.
What's your opinion on the Saudi Arabian circuit?
Not a fan.
Not a fan because of the layout, or
No, well, both. I'm not a fan of another street circuit being added, and I'm also not a fan because
Yeah, I agree. Too many streets.
because there's the
Singapore,
whole
Monaco. You can't.
yeah there's the whole other issue attached to Saudi Arabia, and it's the whole F1 double standard. It's every car has the We Racers one with the rainbow, but then there's Saudi Arabia, which isn't exactly known for its
I think we
being
should
one.
leave the political elements of this because it's going to go down a very, very dark route. So let's try and stay away from the political element.
No, I'm not getting political. I just don't think it gives F1 the best reputation.
but then you could say the same about the US.
Oh, women can now drive in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, great! Is that why we're having an F1 race there to celebrate?
We Racers one.
No, but you can talk about if you look at F1 in general, where's the diversity? You can talk about Saudi Arabia all you want, but if you look at the fundamentals of F1,
Yeah, it's
using
true.
women racing drivers.
Well, no, F1 really is an upper class, rich people sport.
But you say
that way.
Those that have started karting at a young age, they're not all from rich background. Obviously, with the endorsements.
There's Ocon, but F1. If you look at when Ocon and Perez were together, Perez was always going to keep his seat because of the funding that he gets because of his contacts. Whereas because Ocon's just essentially a poor boy without the same contacts and the same outreach, he's not going to. That's what a lot of it comes down to. Like if Lance Stroll, for example, I never used to like him. I don't mind him now because I can see he's a decent driver, but without his dad, there's no way he gets as far as he does. And that's why a lot of people don't have respect for these.
But isn't it justified because now you do like him? Now he's proved that he is a decent driver. He just needed a bit more time.
Yeah, but that could be argued. But there's loads of people that might have been better but didn't have the funding.
The We Racers one statement is a bit
VR.
We Racers one, but tickets for Silverstone are starting at £100. But We Racers one.
We Racers one if you've got lots of money.
That does seem to be the. Yeah, I feel like they're just going to go down. They've slapped the slogan on, and now they can forget about.
Yeah.
Everything. Mercedes is pushing only because Lewis is in the team pushing them.
Yeah, because if Lewis wasn't there, there's no way they'd be half as invested in the.
You say that.
Mm-hmm.
They are probably, if we look at in cars in general, Mercedes are probably the biggest name in the world. So are you telling me they wouldn't be invested in? Just on the basis that such a big company, you'd back them to create a car that goes around quick enough.
But we're talking about the fact that livery's black, We Racers one, we're talking about their activism.
Yeah, about their messages on social media, their anti-racism and stuff. I don't think they'd be as much into it if they didn't have Lewis there. If they had.
Like one thing, definitely that their livery would not have changed had it not been for Lewis in the team.
Yeah.
No chance. Do you think what's holding his contract negotiations up something to do with the We Race One initiative, or he wants extra freedom to do more things with the Hamilton Commission or anything like that? Because he's still not signed as of this weekend.
I think he's going. I don't think he'll stay there much longer.
As I said earlier, I think he will stay, but I don't think it'll be any more than next 2, 3 at most years.
So what's that? 8 or 9 championships, and he's done.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
Basically, got
he will inevitably get 10, but I don't think he will.
10.
Yeah, I think he'll get 10.
He's going to stay 3 years.
I think if he went to another team, then he might be able to get another 1 at another team, but I think he's there for the next 2 seasons. Then
I just think
he's gone.
If for a second we talk about the budget cap that's coming into F1, I'm not sure if that's necessarily the best way they could have gone about making it more equal for all the teams. And that's because teams like Mercedes and Red Bull, every year before the budget cap, post a massive budget bigger than nearly every other team.
Yeah.
Because they're already so far ahead, giving that budget cap, I don't think it will help equal out the field. So I think if Hamilton eventually, after Mercedes, went to another team for a year or 2, I don't think he would win another championship. I think maybe, as you say, 8 or 9, and then I think that'll be it. I don't think he'll ever be like a Raikkonen situation where he's towards the bottom of the grid, but I can't see him winning a champion.
So you don't think anyone's going to challenge him until he decides to leave? Hamilton stops winning when Hamilton leaves.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, I'm with that.
Because I don't have any faith in Mercedes putting George Russell next to him.
I think the only person who can realistically challenge him is Max Verstappen in that car. That Bottas has. Max Verstappen's the only one on the whole grid.
Ishan, you don't think George would challenge?
No, I think George Russell will be a good second driver for Mercedes, but I can't see him ever being.
No.
I can't ever see him being the best driver. I can see him doing well and doing a job for Mercedes and getting podiums.
I can't see him doing well either.
I can. He's a good driver. You can see that he's a good driver. Because on
I'm telling you, I'd much rather say Lando Norris.
Yeah, you'd rather take Lando Norris, but George Russell has the links to Mercedes, and I can't see Lando Norris leaving McLaren anytime soon.
You say
because
that.
If you look at the minute, McLaren on their socials and stuff, it looks as if they're trying to build more of a brand around Lando, like Mercedes have done with Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, but I suppose when you've got the other driver that's leaving, you're not really going to build your brand around him, are you?
Well, no.
He's going in 2 months.
Yeah, but if you look at McLaren's PR, it's very Lando Norris centric, and I can't see him losing it, to be honest. So George Russell, I think if Mercedes brought him back, I think he'd do well. I don't know how much of an upgrade on Bottas he'd be.
He's too young.
He is, but you can see that he's a good driver, though. There's a good driver in there, because on a Saturday he outperforms his Williams car by a lot, and then on the Sunday he gets brought back to earth every week.
Or is he just not? Is his racecraft not there yet in Formula One because he's not had a chance to race?
I think if he had a consistently competent team that he was a part of, he would have a better chance on Sundays. I think he needs. Given an opportunity to prove it, I think he'd do well.
What do you think about Williams leaving?
The sport?
Yes.
I doubt it. But we are running out of time, so we're going to have to end on that George Russell note. But the last thing we can do is get predictions from both of you. Hamilton's contract is going to come soon enough. How many years do you think he signs for? Is it another 1 year? Is it a 1 year contract? Right.
I think he'll sign 1 year, and then he'll go 1 year each year. So that he gives himself. It's a bit like what Messi does in football.
Yeah.
Give himself those options.
Yeah, I agree with that, because as I say, I can't see him being there too many years longer. So I can see him signing a 1 year, And then if next year is just as good, then I can see him going signing one more year, and then after that, I think it's about over at Mercedes.
Okay. Well, thank you both for joining me. Even if you were an hour late.
My pleasure.
Late.
My pleasure.
He called me whilst I was in the shower.